Let me show you the best way to spring clean our bedroom. Now, throughout this series so far, we've deep cleaned our kitchen and even our bathroom too, but really your bedroom is one of the most used and really an area we spend the most time in as well, so we want to make sure to get this nice and clean and reset. The first thing on the checklist is to clean our mattress, and to get started, remove all your pillows, bedding, and mattress cover if you use one. The next step is to give your mattress a really good vacuum. Now, what I like to do is grab my vacuum and the upholstery attachment and start at the top and work my way across the mattress, and don't forget about the sides. Now, I will say, I know some like to use the roller brush on top of the mattress there. Now, you can do this, but just please use caution because sometimes the fabric can get sucked up into that and cause damage to the mattress top. And I don't want that to happen. That's why for me, I just don't use it. The reason this is so important is because throughout the year, we shed a ton of dead skin cells, hair, dust, and debris will start to build up in the mattress. I know it's kind of gross to think about, but it's so important to completely remove that because if we don't, the mattress just won't get as clean and it won't set your cleanup for success. Now, every mattress is a little different. For instance, yours at home might unzip like this one does here, and that's really nice. You can take the cover off, throw it in the washing machine, and you're done. Many times though, the cover doesn't come off, so you have to clean everything in place. Now, the cleaner that works great for this is just simple hydrogen peroxide, just the brown bottle. And what I like to do is actually grab a spray nozzle from a spray bottle and attach it right to the bottle there. They thread on the same, and this works great to spray everything down. Now, what's nice about hydrogen peroxide is that it attacks things like yellow spots, even bodily fluid spots, and can completely lighten them and remove them from the surface. Now, what I like to do is spray that down and come through and extract in two different ways. The first is you can just use a damp microfiber towel, wipe that area down there to completely remove everything, or if you have a spotter machine, these work absolutely amazing for this. But I will say, all you need is water only in the tank because we're only using it to rinse and flush everything out. Now, sometimes you might run across a really bad spot or stain on your mattress. I know this sounds a little gross, but let's say it's like a urine stain. Now for that, I do recommend using an enzyme-based cleaner just because we need to attack that and completely remove it. So you might want to use something a little bit different if you have a few of those. Plus, this will help get rid of the odor or stinkiness that is many times left behind from all the salt and things in the urine. Now, one thing I always like to mention is that if your mattress is pretty clean, maybe you just notice there's one spot after vacuuming everything. The other thing you can do is just grab the hydrogen peroxide, spot treat that one area, and you're done. Once everything is nice and clean, you always want to make sure to get some good airflow over the surface of the mattress. Whether that's a ceiling fan, opening some windows, or a little box fan, the goal here is to get it completely dry before you put anything back on top. A quick pro tip that I always like to mention, and you might even do this at home, but that is to make sure to always use a mattress protector. In fact, I have two of them for each mattress in my house because when one's dirty, I always have a clean one to put back on. That way I know the mattress is protected, and it helps prevent things like spots and spills and just keeps your mattress cleaner longer. The next item on the checklist is to give our bedding a really good wash. Now, this is pretty simple and straightforward, but there are a few things I like to recommend. That way everything comes out nice and clean. You might run across a few bodily fluid spots on your sheets. That's okay, it's very normal. For instance, this one here is a little bit of blood. Now, you do want to make sure to pre-treat that before you put it through the washing machine. That way it completely rinses out. What I like to recommend is just grab the sheet, rinse it with some cold water, then spray down some hydrogen peroxide, just slightly agitate that to work it in, and then wash the sheets like normal. This is gonna make sure that releases from the fibers there, completely rinses out, and your sheets look nice and clean. Now, when it comes to cleaning your sheets, mattress pad, and even your pillowcases and things, I wash those all together and wash them on warm to hot water. I also like to add in about a half cup of white vinegar because this is gonna help not only deodorize your laundry, but also soften it up as well. Now, when it comes to detergent, personally, I like to use something that's free and gentle and that doesn't have a ton of scent and odor just because it's more gentle on your skin. And let's be real, your sheets are always touching your skin. One thing to look out for when you're drying all your sheets is that many times as they're tumbling in the dryer, they like to kind of turn into one giant mega ball of sheets. And unfortunately, this traps a ton of moisture inside, and there is nothing worse than when you go to grab your sheets after the drying cycle is done and they're still wet, especially when you need them to put them on the bed. So a quick thing to do is just always check kind of at the middle of the drying cycle, fluff them up a little bit, undo that ball, that way everything gets completely dry. For blankets, duvets, and comforters, I always like to recommend that you check the care instructions on the tag because sometimes there'll be a specific way that they need to be washed. but in really most cases, you can still use the same process that we use for the sheets with the vinegar and the free and gentle detergent. However, I do like to recommend not using warm to hot water for these items because many times, let's say you're washing a blanket or even a duvet with some stuffing in there, these are very soft and they're made out of synthetic fibers. And unfortunately, if you really heat them up or even potentially melt them, this will cause some damage there and they just won't be as soft and fluffy, and we don't want that. Once everything is nice and clean and completely dry, it's time to make the bed. Now I know everyone's beds are a little bit different, but if you want some helpful tips to make this job a little easier, I have a full video linked down below. Definitely check that out. Now for me, I use a duvet and a duvet cover, and I will say over the years, putting this back together, I have gotten some really good workouts and maybe even a little frustrated too, but I found a tried and true way to get it done. Start by turning the duvet cover inside out and lay it evenly across your bed, but make sure that the opening is at the bottom. Then take your duvet and lay that on top and attach it to the cover. Now, something to keep in mind here is if you do have the little straps there, don't tie it down super tight because this can make it challenging to remove later when you need to wash it again, or it can sometimes even tear and rip. Now at this point, once it's nice and secure, what you're gonna do is go to the bottom of the bed and go inside the duvet cover there and pull the left and right hand corners towards you. This is gonna turn the cover right side out and take the insert along with it, making this job super simple and easy. Now, if you're wondering where to get this super helpful checklist, don't worry, I got you. All you need to do is go to cleanitup.com. I have a free digital download version or a physical version like this available for purchase. I really like this, it's reusable, but I will say supplies are pretty limited. I sell out of these things like crazy during spring cleaning spree, so definitely check it out if you want one. The next item on the checklist is to clean our pillows. Now, the first thing I always like to recommend is that you check the tag on the pillow. Not all pillows can be cleaned the same, so by checking the care instructions there, you ensure that it can either be washed in the washing machine and with different types of detergent. Now, I will say if you do have a memory foam pillow, memory foam and water do not mix, so many times all you can do is remove the cover and wash that, or you can also spot clean it with a little water and dish soap there, but again, just use very little water and get it dry as quickly as possible. That way you won't cause damage. For the pillows that can be washed in the washing machine, it's important that you pre-treat them. Now there's two products that work great for this. The first is just hydrogen peroxide, or if you're looking for more of a store-bought option, the Tide Rescue also works great. Just make sure to really spray those areas with those spots and stains that you notice on the pillow. I'll be real, it's gonna be things like sweat, drool, and other bodily fluids, so we wanna give it time to just break all that down. So I always like to recommend as well that you let it sit for about 15 to 30 minutes. Once you're done pre-treating, it's time to throw them in the washing machine. Now, I always recommend you wash 2 pillows at a time. That way the drum stays nice and balanced, because believe me, if you only do one, your washing machine is probably gonna walk away down the street. For detergent, I'm just using the same thing that I've been using on all the bedding, and make sure to turn your machine on a bulky or large item setting. And again, follow the tag's instructions. For instance, these need to be washed on cold, then start the machine and let it do its thing. When it comes to getting them dry, it's always important before you put them in the dryer to give the pillows a really good fluff. I also like to use dryer balls or tennis balls because this is gonna ensure that your pillows don't get lumpy and hard. For settings, again, use the bulky option if you have one and dry them on a low to no heat option. Once your pillow is nice and clean, there are a few things that you can do just to make your life easier in the future. The first is invest in some pillow protectors. These work just like your mattress protector, just creates that barrier there. That way, if you are gonna have a spill or a spot on the pillow, hopefully it gets on the protector, because these are so much easier to wash. The second thing is always make sure to change your pillowcase on a weekly basis, and even your pillow protector as well. The more that we keep these clean, the lesser chances that your pillow will get dirty. And the last thing is to clean your pillow more often. I like to recommend every 3 to 6 months, and that's why spring cleaning is a great time to start this habit. The next 2 items on the checklist are in-depth dusting and cleaning your light fixtures and fans. When it comes to dusting, we want to take care of those areas like furniture, shelves, and even your headboard, really anywhere that collects dust. Even if you have some vents in there that get a little fuzzy, we want to make sure to get rid of that too. And as I always say, start at the top and work your way down to the floor. Now, obviously later on in the video here, we're gonna clean things like our baseboard and our doors and things. And usually while I'm doing this in-depth dust in the bedroom, I like to just dust those quickly too. That way I'm ready for that next step. Now, when it comes to tools for dusting, there's a variety of them out there. And if you've watched my videos before, you probably already know the few that I really like to use. Number one, a Swiffer duster is great for this because it actually picks up the dust from the surface there. I also really like having the extendable version just because that way I can get the walls really easily and anything I can't reach on foot. The other tool that works really, really well, especially for like window ledges and things, is a Scrub Daddy damp duster. I was kind of a little bit skeptical of this tool when I first saw it online, and this thing really works. Not only does it pick up the dust from the surface, but it also is reusable. You can just rinse it in some water and keep dusting, and I love that. Now the last tool is microfiber towels, and these again do a great job to pick up that dust off the surface. Really, any dusting tool that you're looking for, if it just spreads it around, don't use it. But the really nice thing about microfiber towels and how I like to use them is I use 2 towels at a time, one that's damp to just completely remove everything from the surface, and then I come through with a dry clean microfiber towel and give everything a good buff and dry. That way it leaves the surface looking nice and shiny and almost brand new. Now I gotta say, if you want to upgrade your microfiber towels to my favorite ones, definitely check the link down in the description or in the YouTube shopping tab. Now when it comes to the light fixtures in your bedroom, many times you have like a chandelier or a fan light, and over time, these will just get kind of sticky and full of dust and things, and sometimes even can collect bugs on the inside. So during spring cleaning, I do like to take these off and give them a quick clean in the sink, just with a little dish soap to kind of cut through any grime that might be built up on there, and then put it back in place so it shines like new. Now, when it comes to this job of spring cleaning your bedroom, by no means am I trying to overwhelm you and say you have to do all of these items on the checklist in 1 or 2 days. Really, my goal is to break them down into manageable, bite-sized pieces. That way, if you want to, you can do 1 a day, and by the end of the week, your bedroom is nice and clean. Now, the other few features I have on the checklist too to help you is if there is something in your bedroom that maybe you want to clean that's not on the checklist, you can add it down here in your bedroom's needs. And I also have a helpful QR code over here on the side. That way, if you do need some more step-by-step tutorials to get you through some of these things, you can watch the videos there. The next thing on the checklist is the walls, trim, baseboard, and doors. Now, if you've watched video 1 and 2, you already know the process for this, so you can just follow the same thing here. But if you haven't, don't worry, I'll walk you through it quick. Now, because we already dusted everything, we don't have to do that, and we can start the wet cleaning process right away. Now for the walls, I like to recommend using just a little bit of dish soap and water in a spray bottle. Spray that on the walls at an angle on the side there, just mist it on there, and then come through with a damp microfiber flat mop and go up and down kind of like you're painting. Now the nice thing about cleaning your walls in your bedroom is usually they're not as dirty as like your kitchen and bathroom, so this is quick and easy. When it comes to the trim, baseboard, and doors, I like to use my 3-towel system. 1 towel is to clean, the 2nd towel is to rinse, and the 3rd dry clean microfiber towel is there to dry and buff the surface to make sure no moisture is left behind and everything looks great. Now for your painted surfaces, I always recommend just using a little bit of Dawn in a bucket, but if you do have wood, trim, and doors, Murphy oil is the way to go. If you do run across any scuffs or marks on your trim while you're cleaning it that doesn't come out with the 3-towel system, what I like to recommend is using a melamine sponge. These easily can scrub those away. Just be careful though, don't scrub too hard because you can remove the finish. Now if you need any of the products that I'm using in today's video, I have everything linked down below, or check out the YouTube shopping tab. We've made it to the last item on the checklist, and that is to clean our floors. The first thing to do is give everything a really good vacuum. No matter if you have carpet or even hard surface floors in your bedroom, throughout this entire clean, we've been working everything down to the floor, so we're gonna have a ton of dust and debris, and we wanna make sure to fully remove that. I also like to mention to do a good edge around the entire room there, just because dust really likes to lodge itself into those nooks and crannies along the edge. So we want to use the upholstery attachment or the crevice tool to make sure we completely pull all of that out. No matter where you're vacuuming in your bedroom, remember, always go slow and let your vacuum do the work. The other thing I like to mention, especially if you have carpet or rugs in the bedroom, is sometimes it can be helpful to go from a few different angles. That way you ensure you're pulling as much out as possible. Because we're spring cleaning, we want to pay special attention and vacuum underneath those areas that, let's be real, we just don't get to very often, like furniture, and really the largest area in your bedroom is usually underneath your bed. Make sure to pull everything out from underneath the bed if you do store anything down there. That way you have access to everything. And the other thing that's helped a ton is using a vacuum that can come apart and get underneath those hard to reach areas. I know some vacuums are really bulky and can't fit under there. Personally, I really like to use my Shark Power Detect. I think this vacuum is amazing and does a really good job and helps me get into all those nooks and crannies. If you do have hard surface floors in your bedroom, what I always recommend is using a neutral pH floor cleaner. I have a few linked down below, along with a flat mop. This will keep your floors cleaner longer and won't leave behind a sticky residue. And there you have it. Give yourself a big high five. You did it. Your bedroom is nice and spring clean. Now make sure to join me next week for when we spring clean the living room. And don't forget, if you need one of these helpful checklists, definitely check out my website, cleanthatUp.com. I also need to give a huge shout out and a thank you to all the Clean Squad members over on Patreon and here on YouTube memberships. Thank you so much again for your continued support. We could not make these videos without you. And if you want to join the Clean Squad and get your name credited down below and just have tons of fun with us on Patreon and here on YouTube memberships, all you got to do is click the link down in the description or click the join button here on YouTube. And as I always say, I'll see you on the next clean.